The boy before you was named Gran, and he dreamed of one thing his entire life. He wanted to go to a city called Isteral, located at the very end of the sky. Very few people had ever reached it, and everyone considered it a legend. However, Gran's father left him a letter revealing that he had already reached Isteral and would wait for him there. Since then, our hero's dream was to go to that city and meet his father. He wanted to reach the end of the sky, but currently, as you could see, he was just a poor kid living in a remote village, unsure how to even leave. He did not exactly have a motorcycle to fly to the end of the sky. One day, while Gran was chopping wood with his friend, they saw a flying ship above them, and it appeared to crash. They also saw a light descending from the ship, and Gran felt that the light was calling out to him, urging him to follow it. The boy immediately grabbed his sword and ran toward the place where the light seemed to land. He searched left and right among the trees until he found a girl. The necklace on her neck was what glowed and guided him there. Gran tried to wake the girl to find out what was wrong, or what brought her there in the first place. But before she could tell him anything, soldiers from the ship appeared and ordered him to hand her over quickly. They threatened to kill him if he refused. The brave boy stepped up to protect the girl, and just as the soldiers attacked, he defeated them instantly. Gran was not messing around, but one soldier sent a distress signal, revealing the girl's location to everyone. They all rushed to capture her. Meanwhile, Gran took the girl and fled, unsure why he was even protecting her. However, something inside told him that she would be his key to reaching Isteral. As they ran from the soldiers, they suddenly found themselves surrounded on all sides by the enemy. They were trapped with nowhere to go, but suddenly, a girl appeared out of nowhere and took out all the soldiers. She was a powerful warrior, and it seemed the girl knew her, as they were actually allies. Her name was Catalina. She quickly grabbed them and told them to escape before more soldiers arrived. It was clear that she knew Gran helped Lyria escape. They hid among the trees to avoid detection, but then they saw some soldiers trying to kidnap a farmer's daughter. The group could not stand by and watch, so Catalina charged forward with Gran covering her back. They returned the girl to her father and continued their escape, nearly exiting the forest safe. However, at the edge of the forest, an army commander appeared with soldiers surrounding them from every direction. He was holding a strange device containing a cursed stone, and the man used the stone to summon a monster to kill them. His name was Mason, and he had come to capture Lyria and take her back to be a test subject. When Gran heard this, he knew the man was evil and tried to fight the attacking monster so they could escape, but it was hopeless. The monster was far too strong. It struck Gran down, leaving him collapsed on the ground, bleeding from everywhere. Catalina saw his wounds and said he would never survive that blow. Gran looked like he was dying, but suddenly Lyria ran to him. She told Catalina no, saying, "I do not know who he is or why he protected me, but I will not leave him." She used her power, activating the stone on her neck, and appeared to him in a vision, saying, "I will give you my power, but you must not die. Wake up, Gran, we need you." At that moment, Mason used his stone to separate Lyria from him, then ordered his monster to finish him off. But then, instead of dying, Gran received the power. He suddenly woke up with his wounds fully healed, telling Catalina, "Leave this one to me." He raised his hands with Lyria beside him, and suddenly, a strange light filled the area. A massive dragon appeared behind them. It seemed Gran had summoned it. The monster Mason tried to strike the dragon with all its might, but it was useless. The dragon stood firm in its place, unmoved. With a single attack, it erased the monster from existence, along with everything behind it. The impact was so powerful that the villagers felt it and thought an earthquake had occurred. When Mason saw the beast, he was terrified and fled the scene immediately. After Mason left, the dragon vanished, and Gran collapsed unconscious. He no longer understood what was happening to him. He dreamed of his past, seeing the letter his father left him when he was young. It said, "I am waiting for you in the city of Isteral, Gran. Do not be late." The boy woke up to find Lyria running to hug him. It seemed something had changed between them after that incident. Everyone else entered to check on his condition, and he told them, "I feel that everything is fine now, but I'm sure my stomach was slit open and I was dying. What exactly happened, and how did I wake up?" Catalina and Lyria took him to a room and began telling him what happened in detail. But first, they revealed the truth about Lyria and how she arrived there in the first place. Yes, Lyria was one of the people of the legendary Isteral, and she possessed immense power inside the crystal on her chest. However, the people of the Empire did not like her situation and tried to perform hideous experiments on her to keep her under their control. But I could not let them do that, so I decided to smuggle her out rather than leave her in prison. Since we escaped, no one has helped us except you. Yes, you were the first person generous enough to sacrifice your life, Gran. Because of that, Lyria was moved by your help and decided to share her power with you. Yes, you now have power exactly like Lyria's, and you are no longer an ordinary human, but in return, you now share the same lifespan and everything else. If one of you dies or gets hurt, the same will happen to the other. After Gran heard this, he was deeply affected and realized that Lyria almost sacrificed herself to protect him. His feelings toward her also became conflicted, and he felt he did not want to leave her. How could he, when she was one of the people of Isteral, the place he dreamed of going his entire life? Catalina apologized to him and said, "Unfortunately, you must come with us so you can be near each other, and I can ensure you are both safe. I know this is hard for you, but I beg you to come with us." Gran told her, "Calm down. Do not beg me. You are a golden opportunity for me. I am coming with you and will not leave you." The girl rejoiced, and everyone celebrated and ate food to mark the occasion of Gran leaving the village and starting to achieve his dream. However, his friend Aaron was upset because he would not take him along. He wanted to go, but he knew he would not be useful. That is why Gran promised him that when he achieved his dream and reached the legendary city, he would return and bring him a great gift. The boy rejoiced then and said, "Agreed." Then they continued the celebrations, and everything was wonderful. In the morning, they bid farewell to all the people of the village, boarded the airship, and set off for their new destination. Yes, it was the closest city far from the Empire. But shortly after taking off, it turned out Catalina did not know how to fly at all. They were going to crash the ship. They actually crashed on a new island, and thankfully they survived. It seemed Catalina had bad luck, and every so often they would crash on an island. Anyway, while they were sitting, a man named Rackham walked by, cursing whoever was piloting the ship and ruined it like that. He told them, "Shame on you. You have a masterpiece like this, but do not know how to fly." He then left them and walked away. Of course, the group did not know who he was or why he insulted them, but they shrugged it off. They continued walking into the city and asked about any trips leaving soon, but unfortunately, there were no vacancies. Not only that, but it seemed the man did not want to book exit tickets for anyone. An argument almost broke out there. Anyway, they did not dwell on it and walked around the city to explore it. They went to buy different things for each person, and Lyria liked a specific diary. Yes, she wanted it to record everything that would happen on their journey and how she met Gran and the feelings she felt toward him. Anyway, the next morning, Gran and Lyria were walking together in the city, looking for something to eat. While walking, Rackham met them, took them to a specific place, and told them, "Since you crashed this ship, I took it, fixed it, and left it here. It is a shame to let this masterpiece be destroyed." Gran wanted to give him money to thank him, but the man refused. He told him, "Shame on you. I do not take money for fixing ships." He seemed obsessed with them. Anyway, while they were talking, two people suddenly entered without introduction and said, "Lyria, we want you with us immediately." The girl naturally refused to go with them, and Gran tried to stop them, but they looked like very tough soldiers, and they could not defeat them. Rackham immediately fired a smoke bomb and told the two to run quickly. The men chased after them to catch them, but Gran refused to stop. He turned right and left and reached a road. They were about to catch him, but he told Lyria, "You run, and I will delay them." He actually drew his sword and attacked the man to delay him, but at that moment, green objects fell from above and the ground collapsed. Rackham then appeared and told them, "Hurry before they notice you." It turned out a woman saw what was happening and helped Gran escape. I wonder who she was. By that time, Rackham had taken them through one of the old tunnels built during the war days. He finally brought them to Catalina and told them, "I do not want your thanks. Goodbye. I must not be late." And he left them and walked away. Honestly, I do not know why this old man helped them. Anyway, they sat in a restaurant, ate, and talked about the latest updates, and we learned they currently wanted to travel from this town by any means because the Imperial soldiers had arrived. However, at the same time, all flights were canceled, and they had to stay trapped there until they reopened. That is why a small girl named Lily suggested they rent an airship. It would be expensive, but it would get them to the place they wanted. However, they needed a good pilot to fly it, but pilots were non-existent in that area, and there was basically no one there. But they heard the people behind them talking about Rackham, saying he was a very skilled pilot, burying his talent on this island because of a broken ship he was fixing. He did not want to travel using anything else. When Gran heard this, he was moved and realized immediately who the captain was. They all went to the location of the broken ship he was fixing, or the one people thought was broken. But as soon as they arrived, they were literally amazed. It was a masterpiece. Why did people say it was ruined? They said, "We must meet him quickly." But at that moment, they heard the sound of an army behind them and hid. Here, a small person named Levasian appeared and sat on a chair. Catalina recognized this man. He was a general in the Imperial army and was merciless. Even a soldier who was just speaking, he killed him in cold blood. He told all the soldiers, "This place is nice for enjoying the destruction of this island. Come on, prepare the weapons now." At that moment, he heard a sound beneath him and ordered his soldiers to attack there. He found Catalina and the whole group before him. The guy could not stay silent from joy and ordered his soldiers to surround them so they would get caught. The soldiers were everywhere, and it was hard for the group to escape. But in that moment, Rackham appeared and told them, "Okay." He used his sniper rifle on the soldiers and ruined them. Another shot hit the leg of the chair, and he said, "Take that, you dwarf." He fired a shot under Gran's feet, letting him know there was a door there. The boy immediately understood understood and opened the door to escape quickly. They went down into the cellar, and Rackham met them there. They thanked him for the help for the second time. He told them to count the favors now. Anyway, he took them to his house and asked what brought them to him. Gran told him, "We came for you. Yes, we need a pilot with us on our journey to guide us, and honestly, we will not find anyone better than you." Rackham told them, "Unfortunately, I cannot be with you. This is because I have only one dream in my entire life. Yes, a dream to fly that ship outside. I do not want to fly anything else. Since I was young, I started fixing it and modified everything in it so it would fly. But even after I finished all the modifications, it still does not want to move. Because of that, unfortunately, I cannot come with you." When Gran heard him, he accepted his feelings and thanked him for everything. Meanwhile, Levasian was still furious because Catalina and those with her escaped. But he told the soldiers, "It is normal, no problem. They will die in a bit along with this island." It seemed his plan had already started the execution phase. At that time, Gran, Rackham, and the team were all returning to the city to go to the airship he fixed for them before. However, they found the weather suddenly turned, and those two appeared again, telling them, "There is no time. Come with us quietly, or we will take Lyria by force." Rackham got angry at them this time, drew his weapon, and attacked them. Gran and Catalina also attacked, but those two were very strong, and there was no hope of defeating them basically. But boom, a tornado appeared, and a tree fell in front of them. The island was about to collapse. When those two saw the situation, they told them, "No problem, stay and die here," and ran to their airship. Rackham and the team naturally did not understand anything. They went to the city to find out what was wrong, and found everyone hiding from the tornadoes that occurred. The situation was very difficult, with sick and injured people everywhere. The tornadoes kept hitting the building, and it looked like they would die soon. At that moment, Rackham realized there was an airship outside to escape with. He called the children and women to go with him so he could save them before anything happened. Normally, he did not want to fly anything but his ship, but this was a dire emergency, and he could not leave all those people to die. He went to the airship, but Levasian shot it and destroyed it. Yes, even their last hope had vanished. Levasian kept laughing and bullying them, telling them, "You will all die now. I will be happy watching you scream and suffer." He kept sitting there laughing at them and bullying them. Lyria, at that moment, felt something strange from the sky calling to her, as if it was suffering and was the cause of these tornadoes. She felt that if she went up to save it, she could stop this destruction immediately. She told Rackham what she felt and told him, "We need to fly and get close to the top as fast as possible. If we go up to that place, the problem will be solved." Rackham told her, "All right, I have the solution." He took them to his ship quickly and told them to board. "But how will you fly it, Rackham, when it never worked for you before?" Rackham told them, "I am sure it did not want me to fly it alone. Come on now so we can solve the situation." The boy actually pushed the throttle to the max, and the engine started and moved. He was actually able to fly. Its speed, insane, piercing even the clouds. God, it was beautiful. They continued moving through Lyria's directions to reach the place she sensed. At that time, Levasian felt danger in his heart, so he ordered the soldiers to activate defense mode. The mode was indeed activated while Gran and the team were moving. Suddenly, a purple laser came at them, threatening to destroy them. Rackham immediately laughed and used his piloting skills to dodge everything, even flipping the ship. Yes, he pierced through the smoke. Afterwards, they finally discovered the cause of the tornado and found a giant girl flying in the sky, surrounded by 3 snakes protecting her with lasers. When Lyria got close to her, she felt her suffering and realized that the Empire used a strange stone to control her and destroy this city. The girl also attacked them, and they dodged the attacks with difficulty. Someone had to break that stone, or they would not live long. That is why Gran finally stepped forward, drew upon the dragon's power, and told her, "Leave this to me." He jumped from the ship, ran with immense speed and power, dodged all the lightning attacks, and got close to her. He reached her amidst the dust and shattered the stone binding her. He managed to break it, but he was about to fall to the ground with no one to catch him. But suddenly, the girl transformed and saved him in a second, taking him back to their ship. After she returned to her normal state, the sky then calmed down and the storms vanished. The people and everyone were also very happy. In the end, the girl left a strange necklace for Lyria and disappeared. Then everyone returned to the city again, rejoicing after what happened. They sat down to eat and celebrate, unable to believe they managed to escape that disaster. But suddenly, while they were sitting, Gran touched the necklace. Strange places appeared in his mind, as if calling him to go there. The little girl also recognized the places Gran mentioned. Yes, they were not too far away, and there was a legend about a mysterious creature there. Thus, the destination became clear for our hero's next step. But who would travel with him and take him there? Yes, it was Rackham, my friend, who upon learning of Gran's dream, rejoiced greatly and supported him. He told him, "From today on, you will not need another captain. Yes, I will be your private pilot who will take you wherever you want. Without you, my city and all my family would have died." The boy was overjoyed by his words and was extremely happy. Meanwhile, or a bit earlier, those two learned that Lyria and her group managed to defeat the spirit of the winds, but they did not know how they did it. An armored man Gran also appeared, speaking angrily, and it seemed he was their leader. I wonder what he wanted from our heroes. Anyway, our heroes' ship moved, and the next destination was set. Yes, it was the Arslan volcano. Indeed, after some time, they arrived there. The town was actually surrounded by a dormant volcano, and the people welcomed them. None of them knew what they were looking for, but they were certain that with time, everything would be revealed. Indeed, that little girl appeared to them again, and the group was shocked. Did we not just leave you in the previous town? How did you get here? Lily reassured them, saying, do not worry, I will be everywhere. But let us leave this talk aside and focus on business. Yes, I have brought you a new mission for this town, but we cannot talk here. Come to another place. She took them to a tavern, and her client appeared. His name was Walter. Walter bowed his head to thank them and introduced himself before saying anything. He told them, I am the king's special advisor for this nation, but unfortunately, the king has been missing for a while. We do not know where he went. I heard you were the ones who managed to save the previous town from the tornadoes, and I hope you accept this mission and save our town. The king is the foundation of the love and respect everyone here shares. Without him, our lives will be destroyed. Complete. The group initially did not want to agree or deal with the trouble, but they told him, okay, we cannot stand to see someone in need of help and abandon them. Indeed, in the morning, they split up and began searching for the king. At first, they asked the people about him, asking if he was a good person. Everyone was unanimous in their love for the king, agreeing that he was the best ruler since the country was founded. That is why the group worried about him even more and felt something was strange. However, at that time, a hidden girl was watching the group, and it was clear she was looking for something. Anyway, while Gran was asking a blacksmith about the king, he learned that there had been recent cooperation between him and the empire, and he was taking large quantities of iron to supply them. But after a while, he disappeared. We suspect the empire has something to do with this. When Gran heard this, he immediately decided his next move and informed his friends. They set off for one of the ancient monuments to search for iron scraps, the king, or any clue to locate him. But the girl was still following them, and everyone sensed her presence. Yes, Catalina had known since yesterday, but she did nothing, waiting for the right moment. Before they could speak, a group of monsters attacked this girl and were about to kill her. But Gran and the rest of the team intervened and saved her in seconds. By the way, the girl's name was Mary. They took her aside, sat her down, and asked her, why were you walking behind us? The girl, quite spontaneously, told them to find my master. It turned out Mary was the king's student, and she had been looking for him for a long time but could not find him. She searched for him in almost every place he went, but there was no trace of him. When she found them, asking people about him, she suspected them and followed them, hoping to see him. But of course, Gran informed her that they were also looking for him and wanted to know his location. The girl then suggested the only place she could not go to, and this was because that place required a ship, and she did not have one. And coincidentally, you have a ship and will take me. Everyone was naturally worried about her and did not want to take her along, but because of her persistence, they were forced to take her. They arrived at the entrance, and it was clear the place was abandoned and no one was there. However, Mary noticed magical traces of her master and ran toward them. She used a spell to reveal it and found a hidden ladder under the rubble. It seemed they were getting close. They actually arrived at the bottom, and the place looked like a factory with machines everywhere. Everyone was shocked, but suddenly those two appeared again. It seemed they were related to the king's disappearance. The armored knight also appeared behind them with a girl who looked exactly like Lyria. What is happening? At that moment, Mary shouted at them immediately, saying, where is the king? Where did you kidnap him? The boy replied to her, saying, honestly, we came to ask you about him. He was constantly taking magic stones from us, hoping to create a project with us. But suddenly he disappeared, and we could no longer reach him. Suddenly, a strange armored figure appeared. Behind them, Mary felt her master's aura inside him and ran to him to wake him up. But the knight struck her, and Gran barely blocked the attack. The girl retreated, confused and crying, trying to call out to him to wake up, but the knight could not see anything. The group fought him and pulled the girl away, entering a passage so the knight could not reach them. But at that moment, Mary was very sad because her master, or the only person she respected, had attacked her. She did not know what to do, but our heroes calmed her down and told her, we are certain the king is being controlled and something is definitely wrong, so do not worry. Continue with us so we can resolve this. The girl listened to them, and they arrived there. They found a second iron knight, much stronger than the first, standing before them. The king removed his armor, his eyes glowing red. Yes, he was indeed being controlled and manipulated. The king spoke very angrily, telling them, it is good that you came. I actually wanted to test the new weapon I created to see how it works. The black knight also arrived and saw the king. His weapon made the girl who was beside him do something to the knight, who then rose and attacked them wildly. Gran and the others did not understand what was happening and tried to defend themselves or stop the knight somehow, but his power was immense and no one could match him. No matter how much they struck him, they could not injure him, and it seemed they would die. But then Lyria gave her power to Mary. shocking everyone, and shared her power with the others too. Literally, the knight could no longer do anything. The king grew furious and ordered his final attack, almost winning the fight. But just as he thought he would win, with everyone there, he was struck by ice. Boom, take that. Yes, the knight was successfully defeated. After the knight's defeat, the king fell to the ground in despair. Mary ran to wake him up, touching his face, and he actually woke up. He saw her crying in front of him. He could not bear it and immediately hugged her, remembering all his memories with her, as he considered her his daughter and had taught her all his techniques. The Black Knight and his soldiers also left. To this day, we do not know what they wanted. Also, after defeating this knight, the necklace on, Lyria's neck glowed, and she received a new necklace. Anyway, they returned the king to the palace after completing the mission successfully. Gran also touched the necklace, and a new city appeared before him. Yes, this was their next destination. In the morning, they bid everyone farewell, and the king thanked them for what they did. They were leaving the city, but guess who wanted to go with them, my friend? Yes, it was Mary, who admired the team and decided to explore the world with them. The king also begged them to take care of her, and they all agreed. Anyway, they arrived at that city and entered a tavern. As usual, they met Lily there, and she sat with them at a table and began telling them about a treasure in the city. Yes, there were ruins that no one had explored, and it was written that a great treasure lay there. The group did not hesitate, saying, "Let us go, men." In the meantime, specifically in the ruins they were heading to, two girls were also looking for the treasure. One was named Alpha, and the other was named Beta. It was clear the traps were giving them trouble. Anyway, our heroes entered a place, stepped on something, and suddenly fell. They ended up there by mistake, and bats appeared to attack them. A waterfall also poured down, but Mary barely saved them. Lyria and Catalina fell into a different place. What was happening, guys? At that time, Gran sensed Lyria through the bond between them and guided Rackham towards her. They arrived at that place and found the two girls fighting one of the golems protecting the treasure. They were not letting up. The girls looked very strong, but this golem would not die. It was about to kill one of them when Gran intervened and protected her. He knew why they were here, and they cooperated and agreed to divide the treasure equally among them. Mary also joined with her magic, along with Rackham. Everything was going perfectly. They managed to create smoke around the monster from all sides. Alpha threw a bomb at the monster, and Gran delivered the final blow. They finally triumphed in the battle. The golem then collapsed, and Lyria and Catalina arrived at the explosion site. Finally, the treasure appeared. What beauty and splendor! Alpha and Beta literally could not believe their eyes and ran to the gold in extreme happiness. Gran also found a strange sword and went to grab it. Just as he said, "Easy does it." Boom, everything disappeared. The ruins and the gold also vanished. I do not know if he was supposed to touch that sword at all or what. Anyway, as you know, the girls and everyone were upset about what happened. Not after all this effort do we leave empty-handed. Gran felt he was the reason for what happened and went to Alpha and Beta to give them the sword. He gave it to them as an apology for what happened, saying he did not mean to do it. However, the girls refused to take anything from him and told him, "Do not worry about it, man. It is fine. Go continue your journey, maybe. The sword will be useful to you." Indeed, they boarded the ship and set off for the new city. By the way, it was called the Blue City, named after the water, surrounding it from all sides and the colors of the buildings there. Anyway, they actually arrived at the beach, and there was absolutely no one there. They even found some dead jellyfish on the beach, as if something strange was happening. Suddenly, while walking, a person named Gian appeared. It turned out he knew Rackham from long ago. He greeted him, saying, "What is this, man? Did you marry this moon and have 3 kids too? You have become quite the player." Rackham told him, "Man, God guide you. I am just traveling with them, nothing more. By the way, this is Gran, and currently he is our leader." Gian naturally admired Gran and his bravery, especially since he managed to move Rackham from Sensic, his deserted island. Anyway, they finally sailed the ship until they entered the real borders. In reality, the city was amazing to the max. Even the buildings and people were unnaturally beautiful. Anyway, Rackham took them to the palace, where they found one of the workers with an injured leg. This was due to strange fish that appeared recently and started attacking people. Immediately, Mary ran to treat him, and Catalina went to make them something to eat. Rackham also went to fix ships and such. Only Lyria and Gran were left, so Gian gave them some requests to get from the city, so they could also get to know it and its beauty. The kids actually went out, and Lyria was extremely happy, walking joyfully and excitedly, forgetting everything around her. It seems she fell in love with Gran, my friend. Anyway, at that time, Mason also learned they were in the Blue City and sent his soldiers to catch them. They actually arrived, identified Lyria and Gran, and waited for the right moment to kidnap her. At that time, Lyria admired a hairpin, and Gran bought it for her. The girl was very happy and pleased with it, as it was the first gift from her beloved. Finally, after all that fatigue, they sat down to rest and looked at the breathtaking view. A rainbow appeared before them, looking dazzling. Gran, moved by the beauty of the scene, could not hold back his feelings. He was about to confess to Lyria that he loved her, but suddenly the girl reminded him of something they forgot. He told her, "You stay here. I will be back in seconds." But the fool did not not know that when he returned, he would not find her. Yes, the gang pounced on the girl while she was alone and kidnapped her from the place. Gran naturally knew nothing until a woman passing by alerted him to what happened. The boy was terrified and ran to the place where he left her, but of course the girl was not there. What happened to her? He ran afterwards, calling and searching for her everywhere, but he did not find her. He looked down into the sea and finally saw her. Yes, they were taking her on a ship and trying to escape with her. The boy very quickly chased after the ship to catch it, but the driver was not easy either. He led him to a dead end, and Gran could not stand and kept chasing them everywhere. However, the gang reached Mason and handed her over to him. The girl had woken up and tried to escape from him, but Mason would not let her go. Gran also reached her location and fought the soldiers to get to her. Their numbers were too great for him, but he still did not surrender. Mason then pointed a gun at Gran and told Lyria, "If you do not listen, I will finish him." He also used his stone on her and showed her a vision where she killed all her friends. He told her, "You are just a tool of destruction. If you stay with them, you will kill them all." He also broke the hairpin that Gran gave her. The girl collapsed, shocked by what happened. Her power activated by mistake, and a strange dragon appeared out of nowhere, attacking the ship and destroying it. Gran seized the moment of Mason's distraction, ran to him, and struck him to free his beloved. But unfortunately, the girl was in a state of shock and did not respond to anyone, as if she were not alive at all. The dragon also noticed the sword Gran was holding and unleashed a massive wave to drown him and everyone around him. The boy was actually about to die in the water, but vines descended into the sea and saved him. Yes, she was the same girl who saved him before in the city, and she was also the one who informed him that Lyria was kidnapped. By the way, her name was Rosetta, and no one knew why she was helping Gran. Anyway, because of that wave, many people were injured, but the bigger disaster was Lyria, who fell into a coma. She would not wake up or respond to any treatment. At that time, Rosetta entered and diagnosed her condition. She told them, "I know what happened to her. Unfortunately, neither magic nor medicine can heal her soul, but if you want to save her, there is only one solution and one island that can heal her." Everyone was naturally suspicious of her and felt she had an ulterior motive, but Gran was sure she was kind. He was certain she did not mean to harm them, so he told her, "We will think and tell you what we will do." At night, the boy sat with Catalina and asked her about Lyria's past and what happened to her long ago, and what Mason reminded her of. Catalina actually began telling him her story, saying she was a girl they found in one of the places. They saw her immense power and started performing experiments on her, but when they put her amidst 100 monsters, she managed to defeat them all. She also destroyed the building they were in, and because of that, she was sentenced to imprisonment. I was her guard at first. I thought she was an evil girl who would hurt anyone, so I was cautious with her, but over time, I discovered she is kind. On the contrary, she is just a victim of the Empire. That is why I decided to take her with me and escape from that place. We kept traveling until I met you in the village, Gran. At that moment, the boy understood what really happened and told her, "Okay, fine." He then went to Rosetta and informed her that he was ready to go with her to heal Lyria. The girl naturally agreed, and they planned everything that night to figure out how to travel. After that, Rackham prepared the ship, and they set off for the place where the girl would be healed. During the journey, Lyria was still dreaming of her past, dreaming that she was in a library filled with blood. This was after she had killed all her friends. It seemed she would struggle to wake up. Anyway, Gran and the entire team arrived at the island Rosetta told them about. She took them to a strange place inside a large tree. By the way, this was the center of the island. At that time, a beautiful girl appeared from inside the tree and welcomed them. By the way, her name was Miro, and she was the friend of Rosetta, who possessed a strange ability and could heal Lyria. Anyway, she welcomed them, assessed the condition, and then created a bridge from the trees. She had them place the girl there. Before starting the treatment, she told Gran, "You are the one who can deal with her. My job is only to send you inside her spiritual consciousness. If she does not listen to you, you both will die. Are you ready for the risk?" The boy did not think for a second and told her, "Let's go." But before they started, Mary gave him the hairpin she had, which was broken before. This was after she fixed it. She told him, "Take it with you. It might be useful inside." Indeed, Miro began the spell, and the world lit up. Gran was transported inside the library where Lyria was. He found her sitting and crying. He tried to call out to her, but the girl could not hear him. She was still reliving her memories of believing she would destroy and kill all her friends. At that moment, Gran poured out all his feelings. He told her, "No, you are the kindest and purest person I have ever seen in my life. You would never hurt anyone. I know Mason reminded you of the past and that you killed many monsters, but believe me, I am sure that even Even if you did that, you did it to defend yourself, nothing more. I know and am certain you are not dangerous, Lyria. On the contrary, you are a friend to us all. The girl, at that moment, was deeply moved by his words, and his feelings truly reached her. She wanted to turn and hug him, but something was stopping her. The boy was also floating away, and they were both about to disappear. But suddenly, the hairpin fell. Yes, this pin was the one he had brought her, and she loved it more than anything. The moment the girl grabbed it, the boy came down. He told her, "Come with me. Let's go. All our friends are waiting for you. We cannot live without you, Lyria." At that moment, Lyria was truly moved by his words and cried. The atmosphere around them changed completely. A rainbow also appeared before them, creating a truly beautiful scene. Gran, at that moment, finally seized the opportunity and confessed his feelings. Yes, he told her, "I love you, and I will never leave you again." The girl felt the same way inside. It was such a beautiful and tender moment. Finally, they woke up and everyone hugged her. The spirit of the tree entered her, among other strange occurrences. Anyway, at that moment, Mason appeared again to capture Lyria and never let her go. Honestly, I am tired of this man. Anyway, he ordered his soldiers to surround them and unleash the monsters. He thought he had won, but he did not know that as long as Rosetta was there, he was finished. Gran and Catalina also fought hard. What was happening? The soldiers literally did not stand a chance against them. Mason fell before them, humiliated. I do not know how long he will stay humiliated like this. Anyway, Gran told him, "Look, you scum, this is your last warning. If I see you again, I will finish you. Get out of my sight." Mason actually ran from the place, but he drew his weapon to betray Gran. But Lyria did not stay silent. She summoned the spirit of the winds and made it blow him and the soldiers away. Yes, the girl's power had crossed all limits. She then sensed that the dragon went into a rage and started destroying the city nearby. She told everyone, "Let's go there." But before she could thank Rosetta, she had disappeared from the place, leaving them a flower, as if she expected nothing from them. They immediately boarded the ship and left. Rosetta told Gran, "Say hello to your father for me." It seemed she was an acquaintance of the old man, my friend. Anyway, they arrived at the city, and the dragon had attacked and started destroying everything around them. Gian and the soldiers tried to fight off the dragon's fish, but no one could stop them. He was about to die when a knight in iron armor saved him. Yes, Lyria and the group arrived, and they were going to save the town and not let anyone suffer. However, contrary to expectations, the dragon released so many fish that attacked them. The group tried to dodge them, but their numbers were endless. Gran then began to analyze the fish tornado and realized a strange fish was guiding them. If they killed it, they could get rid of the tornado and strike the dragon. They also learned that the dragon was being controlled in the same way used on the spirit of the winds. That is why all the heroes of the city intervened to protect their homeland. Gian actually managed to hit the strange fish and stop the tornado. Now, only the dragon remained. Gran immediately took power from Lyria and charged at it with all courage, dodging all attacks. He reached it, and boom, he delivered a finishing blow. But unfortunately, the strike was not powerful enough, and the boy was burned. The damage even reached Lyria, and she was burned too. That is why the girl gave him her full power. Boom, that ended it. Yes, the dragon returned to normal and stopped the attack. It also gave Lyria its power, and a new necklace appeared. At that moment, the Black Knight and the girl with him appeared and took part of the dragon's energy. It seemed they got what they wanted. Lyria tried to understand their intention, but they quickly boarded their ship and left. Afterward, everyone celebrated the victory they achieved, unable to believe they defeated the Empire. Jian also invited them for food and treated them well. Everything was wonderful. While they were sitting eating, he asked them a very strange request. Yes, he asked to join Gran on his journey to help him in return for saving the city. Gran naturally did not want his help or any repayment, but it seemed Gian wanted to join for his own reasons. Naturally, because of that, the boy told him, "Okay, get ready in the morning so we can leave." In the morning, everyone bid them farewell with joy and love, and they set off for the new destination. It seemed they were going to do great. And that is it. Goodbye.